What's up, tribe? So in this video I'm going to show you how um I was able to make $300 on some few trades I took. So market has been making higher highs. This is a British pound GBP USD. So market has been making higher highs, breaking structure and going up. So market started changing structure. You can see here it it broke this so it broke this swing right here. So market change here made a market structure shift. This internal market structure shift, but there was actually you could most likely say this was liquidity. All right. So let's make this so liquidity was sitting around here. Right. So market took out this liquidity, right, and came to this level here. So market came here, touched this point of interest here, and started rallying up. So this market picking up this liquidity here made me believe that market still had the chance to rally up a bit. All right. Might most likely still come back to this level here. All right. But the market has been going up for a uh, very long time. Right? So it's no, there's no doubt that market has been going up. So I'm only going to be looking for buys in the market. So I always have my analysis at the 4 hour. This is where I do my analysis first of all. Then so I located this area because I was looking for where will I get in. So I located this area. Is always small demand here, and it's coming from my let me show you. Okay, yeah, so it's coming from these that types of zones. So there's the doji candle basin zone, there's a multiple candle basin, then there's a single candle basin. So I saw this on the higher time frame. So this was it right here. Let me zoom in so that you see. All right, so you can see clearly this was um the doji candle basin. So this was a clear demand here. So I waited for price to get to that level. So what I was looking for now was a market structure shift in the lower time frame. So I went to the 5 minutes. I went to the 5 minutes. Okay. So this was where I took the trade. Yeah. So let me walk you through how I was able to bank on this trade. Okay. So when market uh tapped on this demand zone here, let me make it clear for you. Okay. So this was the 4 hour demand zone. Right? The 4 hour demand zone. Now I waited for market to make this shift, market structure shift here. So once market make a structure shift right here, this was when market make the structure shift here. You might not see it clearly. Okay. So this was a previous swing. A market broke that swing, came back, and the next thing market did was that it broke this swing here, right, indicating that market is about to rally up, right? We can actually take this here and say this is our market structure shift if you want to. All right. So market started making higher highs and breaking structure. So this is structure, structure here, structure. All right. So now, where is the right place to enter? Because you need to look for the right place to enter in the trade. So this was where I entered. Because you can get your directional bias, which I've shown you, aside from the 4-hour time frame. But where do you need to enter the trade? So since our directional bias is bullish, we need to buy, all right, because the market is going up. So where do we need to buy? Because we need a perfect setup. We need a perfect setup. I always say there are 3 things you need to consider before placing a trade. The first one is this: you need to have a forecast. The second one you need to have is setup. Then the third one is I need to have a signal. So these are the things you need to consider before placing a trade. So forecast gives you your directional bias, which I've done in the 4-hour time frame. So you need to get a directional bias. The second thing is your setup. So setup are what are the conditions that need to line up? What are the conditions that need to line up before you place a trade? I only take a trade on demand zone or supply zone. That's how I take my supply and demand zone. You can see I have it right here, right? This is my playbook on how I enter my trades. You can see them here. All right. If you want me to teach you about how I enter my trades, I can walk you through how I place my trades, right? So these are the playbook that I have that instructs me, that tells me what I need to do at every given period in trading, right? So let me go back to the chart. Okay, so now I only enter at what the demand zone. Okay, so I spot a very good demand, and this was exactly what was what I've written down here. What I've written down, yeah, what I've designed right here. Multiple candle basic. I saw multiple candles here, all right? Multiple candles here. We can just leave it like this. It might not be that perfect, but we saw multiple candles here. So now that has become our demand zone. So where is the right, or how do you enter the trade? That's where signal comes in, right? Signal. So what is your confirmation? What is a confirmation? What is your go ahead? You say, okay, you know what? I have gotten my setup. I enter at the demand zone. I've gotten my forecast. The market says I need to go higher. So what is my signal? This is the last thing you need to what, consider. So you have our forecast, we have our setup. So what is our signal? Okay. So this was where I entered my trade. Now there's such thing called trading mechanics. I would teach that in the next, maybe in the next few videos that I will create. So when uh, price got into my demand zone, I had to wait for a reaction. Now there are multiple ways you can actually enter a trade. Multiple ways you can run your entry. So you can either enter immediately, right? Or you can wait for a retest. So if market gets, let's say market comes in and then rejects, you can enter somewhere here, right? Or you could wait for market to make a pullback, right? And rallies up, and then you enter your trade. So it just depends on you. So how did I enter my trade? So this was what I did. So what I did was that I waited for market to reject from that level, make a pullback, right? And then rally again, right? So once market rallied and broke this previous swing, it's now indicating that market wants to go up. Market now has changed trend, because if you watch, there's a rule that I always give my students. I tell them that if market is making something like this, let's say market is uh right now, if you see a demand zone, what you should be expecting. So let's see. Okay, I know this is not um I didn't draw this in very, very well, but you want to make sure that market has make a market structure shift, right? Has broken previous swings, something like this, right? Previous swing, and then you can enter onwards the pullback or break of that pullback. All right. So just is you just being conservative. I prefer entering my trades this way because they give me more win rate, and um it just helps me to avoid fake outs. All right. So since I know the market is going up already, market has been rallying heavily, right? I now have the confidence. So I just need market to what make a market structure shift. So once market broke this previous this previous swing, that's when I jump in on the buy. And then my stop loss placement is below the zone, one pip or few pips rather below that zone. You could say, you know what, you want to enter below the pullback, right? Below that pullback. So you, you might most likely be affected by this, right? So I'll talk about stop loss placement in the future. So this is it. And then I targeted 1:2. This was the previous this swing was my point of interest. So this was where I targeted, and you can see markets rallied and smashed our TP. So this was a trade that I took, and it was a very, very nice trade. So this is just me walking you through the trade I took and how I was able to make 300 bucks on this particular trade. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, and catch you guys on the next one.